Your liver may be overworked, and it rarely warns you. Left unchecked, everyday habits can trade clear energy for stubborn fatigue and quiet metabolic strain. Stay with me for simple, safe changes that gently support and cleanse at home without gimmicks. I'm not here to sell a miracle cleanse. I'm here to help your liver breathe a little easier with small, doable choices you can start today. If you stay with me through this journey, I'll share a practical bonus at the end of the full content, an easy accelerator to make these habits work better without gimmicks. No teas that promise the moon. Just evidence-guided, kitchen table common sense. Let's begin with the quiet truth. The liver works hard and rarely complains. It processes what we eat and drink, stores and releases energy, breaks down medications, and helps clear the leftovers of everyday metabolism. The challenge is that modern habits, very familiar in North America, keep turning up the workload. Think bottomless soda refills at lunch, late-night pizza with ranch on the side, char-kissed barbecue that's more burnt than browned, sugary dessert coffees, and weekends with a few cocktails followed by a quick painkiller for the headache. None of these in isolation makes a villain. But together, and repeated daily, they can nudge the liver toward a state where it's always catching up, never quite resting. You might notice vague signs first: energy that dips mid-afternoon, skin that looks a bit dull, a waistband that feels tighter even when your weight hasn't changed much. Sometimes lab tests whisper before life shouts. It's subtle, and that's why people overlook it. We're told to chase a dramatic detox when the real pivot is consistent, boring, unglamorous habits. Routines are rarely Instagrammable, yet they're how livers thrive. Here is the mental reframe that changes everything. Supporting your liver is less about flushing toxins and more about reducing incoming stress while improving the basics that help your body do its own housekeeping. Hydration, fiber, protein quality, cooking methods, sleep, and light movement sound simple, and they are, but the results stack over time. When in doubt, we'll default to food-first approaches and gentle preparation techniques you can repeat safely. And because this is health, precision matters. Amounts and methods can backfire if you improvise wildly. If you have a liver condition, take daily medications, are pregnant or breastfeeding, talk with a licensed professional before changing diet or supplements. That one conversation can prevent months of frustration. To make this practical, I start with swaps, not restrictions. Replace one sugary drink with water or unsweetened iced tea. Build half of your plate with vegetables, especially the colorful and the cruciferous, and let protein be lean and simply cooked. Season generously with lemon, herbs, and olive oil after cooking instead of drowning food in sugary sauces before. If you grill, aim for browned rather than charred, and consider a quick marinade to protect the meat and keep the flavor bright. None of these asks you to abandon your favorite foods. They simply edit the parts that overwork the liver. Another overlooked lever is timing. A long nightly grazing window, snacks from dinner until the last episode, keeps the liver on duty when it would rather tidy up. Giving your body a clean night shift by finishing dinner earlier and pausing the snacks allows the liver to do paperwork instead of running the assembly line. Pair that with a short walk after the evening meal, and you've just lowered the bar the liver has to clear before bedtime. There is also a household pairing many people assume is harmless that can strain the liver more than you'd expect. I'll reveal it later in the series, along with the promised bonus that helps you lock these changes in for real life. For now, remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's momentum, little improvements repeated so often that the healthy choice becomes the easy choice. Take a breath. Your liver has been showing up for you every hour of every day. With a few steady habits, you can finally return the favor. We'll keep the tone calm, the steps simple, and the outcomes realistic. Clearer energy, steadier appetite, and a body that feels less burdened by yesterday's choices. If you're ready to start, your next move is straightforward and powerful. Look at what's in your cup. What you sip today either adds to the workload or quietly lightens it. As we continue, remember this is educational and not a substitute for personalized medical care. Read labels on foods and medicines, avoid do-it-yourself megadoses of herbs or essential oils, and respect that more is not always better. Consistency beats intensity. The next tip is one of the most important. Ignoring it won't just limit your results, it can also create unwanted side effects. So follow along with an informed, steady mindset. Let's build on the momentum you've already created. You just turned your attention to the liver's reality. Quiet, consistent work that keeps the rest of you moving. Now we'll focus on a deceptively small decision that has outsized impact. What goes in your cup and when? If the first chapter asked you to notice patterns, this one invites you to make a handful of upgrades that your liver will feel almost immediately. Start with this simple truth. Hydration is the liver's teammate. Adequate fluid helps blood flow smoothly through the liver's filters, carrying nutrients where they need to go and escorting natural byproducts away. But there's a catch that trips people up. Many of the most common American beverages arrive bundled with sugar, syrups, and additives. The bottomless cola at lunch, the extra-large sweet tea on the road, the caramel-swirled coffee that's essentially a milkshake, and energy drinks that land like a sugar caffeine firework. These are normal in our food culture, which is exactly why they deserve a careful look. If you trade just one of them for water each day, the cumulative relief for your liver adds up faster than you'd guess. Here's how I make it easy. I keep a bottle within reach and use tiny rituals that don't rely on willpower. 1 glass before each meal, a refill whenever I return to my desk, a squeeze of lemon, a few mint leaves, or chilled sparkling water when I miss the feeling of soda. If you prefer unsweetened iced tea, great. Keep it plain, and consider a splash of lemon after brewing rather than loading up on syrups. A fun rule of thumb: for every cup of caffeinated coffee, match it with 1 glass of water sometime in the next hour. Speaking of coffee, let's clear the confusion. Black or lightly sweetened coffee, especially filtered, can fit well for many adults. The trouble starts when coffee becomes dessert. Whipped cream, flavored syrups, and candy bar toppings turn a steady morning habit into a daily glucose spike. That doesn't mean coffee is bad. It means the extras are doing the heavy lifting in the wrong direction. Keep it simple and listen to your body. If you're sensitive to caffeine, limit your intake and avoid it late in the day to protect your sleep. A quiet gift to your liver's night shift. Water isn't magical, but it is foundational. To find your practical target, glance at your urine color. Pale straw suggests you're in a good zone, while dark yellow nudges you to sip. If you've been told to restrict fluids due to a medical condition, follow that guidance and personalize any hydration plan with your clinician. More is not always better. The aim is steady, not extreme. Let's address detox waters and concentrated add-ins that flood social media. Adding a few lemon slices or a thumb of fresh ginger to a pitcher makes water more inviting. That's a behavior tool, not a cure-all. What I don't recommend is pouring concentrated essential oils into your bottle, combining multiple aggressive herbs, or chasing megadoses of powders because a stranger promised dramatic cleansing. The liver is a precision organ. Overloads and odd mixtures can irritate it. Keep your infusions gentle and culinary, ingredients you'd be comfortable chewing in a normal meal. If you like structure, try this 1-week hydration reset. On waking, sip a small glass of water to nudge your morning rhythm. Before meals, drink another glass. It helps with appetite awareness and supports digestion. Choose water, sparkling water, or plain iced tea at restaurants, even in places where free refills tempt you to keep sipping sugar. If you want a flavored option at home, build a pitcher with 1 liter of cold water, 2 or 3 thin slices of fresh ginger, a cinnamon stick, a handful of mint, and a few lemon wheels. Let it sit for 30-60 minutes in the fridge. Keep the flavors light. If you feel any throat or stomach irritation, switch back to plain water. This is a bridge to better habits, not the destination. There's also a timing angle. Many people unknowingly drink the bulk of their fluids late at night. Sodas with takeout, sweet tea during a movie, another cup of coffee to push through emails. That pattern crowds the evening with sugar and caffeine, then disrupts sleep, which is when your liver prefers to tidy its books. Shift more of your sipping to the daytime and keep evenings calmer. Your body will signal appreciation with steadier mornings and, often, fewer cravings the next day. Finally, remember why this matters. You're not chasing a cleanse, you're building a supportive environment so your liver can do what it already knows how to do. When beverages become simpler and more deliberate, meals tend to follow. Portion sizes feel more natural. The afternoon slump softens. These are small human results that stack up. This chapter is educational and not medical advice. If you take daily medications, read the labels and check with your clinician about how fluids and caffeine might interact with them. If you drink alcohol, respect moderation and never assume that more water makes risky combinations safe. The win here is consistency, not heroics. Clear choices that give your liver less to handle and more time to recover. The next tip is one of the most important. Ignoring it won't just limit your results. It can also create unwanted side effects, so approach it with the same calm, informed attention you brought to your cup today. You've already taken control of what goes in your cup. Cleaner hydration, calmer caffeine, fewer sugar spikes. Now let's move from sips to bites and build a plate that quietly helps the liver do its day job. The goal isn't restrictive rules. It's a pattern that slides into everyday life in North America, whether you're packing lunch from the office fridge or navigating a drive-thru after soccer practice. Think of this as housekeeping for your metabolism. Less clutter coming in, gentler cleanup required. Here's the simple frame that works for busy kitchens. Fill about half your plate with vegetables, a quarter with lean protein, and a quarter with whole grains or starchy plants. It's not a diet, it's a layout that balances fiber, micronutrients, and steady energy. The vegetable half is where the magic happens for the liver. Aim for color and crunch. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, kale, spinach, bell peppers, red cabbage, carrots. These aren't about detox, they're about fiber and compounds that support the body's natural processing. Keep the preparation gentle so the good stuff stays. Steam until just tender and bright, sauté quickly in a teaspoon of olive oil, or roast at moderate heat until the edges brown but don't burn. Protein keeps you satisfied and helps you avoid the snack spiral that nudges calories late into the night. Choose grilled or baked fish, salmon, cod, skinless chicken, turkey, eggs, tofu, or beans and lentils. If you've got a slow cooker humming on Sundays, a very American survival tactic, keep a batch of shredded chicken or a pot of black beans ready so weeknights don't push you toward deep-fried defaults. When you do enjoy red meat, smaller portions and gentler cooking help. Marinate before grilling and aim for browned, not charred. The goal is flavor without the burnt crust. Whole grain choices, brown rice, quinoa, barley, farro, oats, or even a simple baked sweet potato, bring fiber that helps steady blood sugar and keeps digestion moving at a pace the liver appreciates. If you love classic American sandwiches, swap in high-fiber bread and stack more vegetables inside. Pile on tomato, cucumber, greens, and avocado, and go lighter on sugary condiments. A squeeze of lemon, a sprinkle of herbs, and a drizzle of olive oil after cooking can replace the need for a heavy ranch or barbecue sauce that sneaks in extra sugar and additives. Grocery reality check helps this stick. At big box stores, rotisserie chicken, pre-washed salad greens, frozen vegetable blends, and microwavable brown rice are budget-friendly shortcuts. When the day runs long, the best diet is the meal you'll actually make. Keep a frozen vegetable mix on standby, a can of beans in the pantry, and a lemon by the cutting board. Fast becomes healthy when the ingredients are ready to go. Now, a few surprises that tend to change outcomes. First, people often underestimate how much of their daily sugar arrives in sauces and dressings, not dessert. 2 tablespoons of a sweet barbecue sauce or a generous pour of honey mustard can rival a small cookie. Using vinegar-based dressings or whisking your own olive oil, lemon, and mustard can cut that load without cutting enjoyment. Second, crisp-looking salads can hide a fried core. Think Southwest bowls stacked with tortilla strips, heavy cheeses, and sugary dressing. The fix is simple. Keep the crunch from vegetables and nuts, not from a fryer. Cooking method matters more than most labels. The same chicken breast behaves very differently if it's breaded and deep-fried versus baked with olive oil, garlic, and herbs. The same potato becomes a liver-friendly side when roasted with paprika and a bit of olive oil instead of arriving as a mountain of drive-thru fries. And that backyard barbecue? Marinate meats in lemon, garlic, and herbs, use indirect heat, and remove any charred bits before serving. You'll keep the taste people love while lowering compounds the liver would rather not sort out. One practical plate to repeat: half a plate of steamed broccoli and sautéed kale, a quarter plate of baked salmon with lemon and dill, and a quarter plate of quinoa or brown rice, finished with a spoon of olive oil after cooking. Another weeknight option: a burrito-style bowl with romaine, black beans, roasted peppers and onions, grilled chicken or tofu, a scoop of brown rice, salsa fresca, and a dollop of plain Greek yogurt instead of sour cream. These aren't fancy. They're repeatable. That's the point. If you're dealing with specific medical needs, allergies, or you're pregnant or breastfeeding, personalize these ideas with a licensed professional. And remember that more fiber requires more water. Your smart hydration from earlier chapters makes this upgrade feel better, not worse. Pay attention to how your body responds: lighter afternoons, fewer cravings, steadier mood. That feedback is your green light to keep going. Let this be your quiet pivot, a plate that cleans as it nourishes. You'll eat plenty, enjoy flavor, and still leave your liver room to breathe. The payoff isn't dramatic in a single meal, it's cumulative. A week of better choices that turns into a month, then a season. Keep going, because the next lever involves timing, and when you get timing right, the same foods work harder for you. The next tip is one of the most important. Ignoring it won't just limit your results, it can also create unwanted side effects. Approach it with the same steady, informed mindset you've used to build your plate today. You've reshaped your plate into something the liver recognizes as a teammate. More vegetables, lean proteins, and steady fiber, fewer fried shortcuts. There's a powerful way to multiply those gains without adding new foods. Change the schedule. When you eat and sleep, sets the rhythm for how your liver manages fuel, repairs tissues, and organizes the paperwork of metabolism. We're not chasing perfection or long fasts. We're aiming for a calm daily cadence that your body can keep even on busy North American weekdays. Begin with an easy, repeatable target. Give yourself a clear overnight pause between the last bite of dinner and the first bite of breakfast, about 12 hours for most adults. If you finish dinner at 7 p.m., breakfast naturally lands near 7 a.m. This isn't a challenge to see who can wait the longest. It's permission for your liver to tidy the shop without needing to receive and sort new deliveries. If late-night hunger sneaks in, check the balance at dinner. Did your plate include enough protein and fiber? A short walk after the meal, even 10-15 minutes around the block, can also smooth cravings and help your body handle glucose more comfortably. Next, let's align caffeine with sleep rather than against it. Coffee can be part of a healthy routine for many people, but timing is underrated. Try waiting 60-90 minutes after waking before your first cup. Cortisol, the hormone that helps you get going, naturally rises in the morning, and giving it a moment to do its job can reduce the need for extra cups later. Set a personal caffeine cutoff 6 to 8 hours before bedtime. Popular American habits like an afternoon drive-through latte or a late study session with energy drinks may feel productive in the moment, but often shift the cost to your night's rest. The liver does a lot of organizing while you sleep. Guard that time like an appointment you can't miss. Evenings are where many small decisions accumulate. Soda with takeout, sweet tea during a movie, cocktails that stretch into snacks, all are common, all increase nighttime workload. Try a simple kitchen power-down routine. Tidy the counters after dinner, pour a glass of water or herbal tea, and dim the lights. Keep high-sugar snacks out of immediate reach. Store fruit at eye level, and move the chips to a cabinet that takes a conscious choice to open. If you enjoy alcohol and choose to drink, keep it modest, avoid mixing with certain medications, always read labels, and don't assume that water cancels out risk. The win is not abstinence by force, it's awareness and intention. Light also sets rhythms. A few minutes of morning daylight, on a porch, at the bus stop, or during a quick dog walk, reinforces your natural clock and makes it easier to feel sleepy at night. At home, lower the brightness on screens an hour before bed. Save heavy, high-fat dinners for earlier in the evening, and let the last meal be generous in vegetables and fiber with a sensible portion of protein. Think, a bowl of minestrone, roasted vegetables with salmon, or a hearty salad with beans and quinoa. When late-night hunger hits anyway, reach for a small protein-forward option: Greek yogurt, a boiled egg, or a few nuts, rather than cookies or leftover fries. Work schedules can be messy. Shift workers and parents of young children already know this. In those seasons, consistency matters more than the exact clock time. Anchor 2 or 3 habits you control: the same overnight pause, a short walk after your main meal, and a screen-dim tea routine before bed. Stack small wins. Your liver cares about the pattern, not about perfection on a calendar. Here's a day that respects the clock without feeling rigid. Wake, hydrate, and get a few minutes of daylight. Hold coffee for a bit, then enjoy it with a protein-rich breakfast: oats with chia and berries, or eggs and sautéed spinach on whole-grain toast. Lunch leans colorful and fiber-dense: a salad bowl with greens, black beans, roasted vegetables, and grilled chicken or tofu. Aim for a mid-afternoon movement break. Even a brisk walk between meetings lowers the pressure on dinner. Eat that evening meal on the earlier side when you can: half a plate of vegetables, a palm-size protein, a fist-size whole grain, and take a 10-minute stroll. Dim lights, choose water or herbal tea, and let the kitchen close gently. 2 clarifications keep this safe and sustainable. First, if you live with diabetes, take medications that affect blood sugar, are pregnant, or have a medical condition, set any timing changes with your clinician. Food and medication schedules interact. Second, if you sleep poorly for a few nights, don't make up by fasting longer the next day. Return to your usual rhythm and rebuild consistency. The goal is a reliable background beat that lets your liver do tomorrow's work tomorrow, not carry yesterday's over. Once you experience steadier mornings and fewer late cravings, you'll understand why timing is a quiet superpower. It gives your liver a shift it can finish, instead of an inbox that never closes. Keep the changes small, repeatable, and kind to your routine. Your earlier work on hydration and plate balance now starts to compound. The next tip is one of the most important. Ignoring it won't just limit your results, it can also create unwanted side effects. Carry this same calm, informed approach forward as you adjust daily routines. You've given your liver a calmer schedule: earlier dinners, an overnight pause, and sleep that actually restores you. Now it's time to look straight at the everyday traps that quietly crank up workload without asking permission. These aren't dramatic villains. They're friendly habits that tag along to barbecues, office lunches, tailgates, and late-night study sessions. Spot them once, and you'll start seeing them everywhere. And that awareness alone changes choices. Start with the crispy equals delicious reflex. Browning deepens flavor, but burning creates compounds. Your body has to file and process. On the grill, use marinades that lean on lemon, garlic, herbs, and a little olive oil. They add moisture and help protect the surface of meat or tofu. Cook over indirect heat, flip before dark patches form, and trim off any charred bits rather than treating them like a prize. If you love a backyard burger, shape patties thinner, keep the heat moderate, and pull them as soon as they're done. You'll still get the summer taste without the scorched crust that your liver would rather skip. Sauces and dressings deserve a label moment. In North American kitchens, sugar often sneaks in through barbecue sauces, ketchup, honey mustard, and creamy dressings like ranch. A couple of tablespoons can rival dessert. The fix doesn't require bland food. Switch to vinegar-forward dressings, make a quick olive oil lemon mustard vinaigrette, or use salsa fresca. At a restaurant, ask for sauces on the side and dip your fork instead of pouring. If you're shopping, scan for a shorter ingredient list and a light hand with sugar and sodium. Taste buds adapt quickly. What seemed plain last week may taste just right next week. Then, there are the convenient proteins that dominate game days and road trips: hot dogs, bacon, pepperoni, and deli meats. They're easy, salty, and snackable, and they push you toward extra sodium and preservatives. Rotate them out by keeping better defaults within reach. Roasted turkey or chicken you slice yourself, canned tuna packed in water, beans or lentils cooked once for the week, eggs ready to go. Pair these with a heap of vegetables and a whole grain base, and you've built a plate the liver recognizes as a teammate. The fryer is another quiet multiplier. The same chicken, breaded and deep-fried, delivers a very different metabolic load than when it's baked with paprika, garlic, and olive oil. French fries are fun, but roasted potato wedges, tossed in olive oil, paprika, and a pinch of salt, scratch the same itch with less work for your body later. Air fryers can help, but the rule still stands. If it smells burnt, it's past the sweet spot. Energy drinks and hyper-sweet coffees show up when we're trying to keep up. They taste like productivity, but the sugar-caffeine combo often backfires with a crash, then late-night cravings, then irregular sleep. Your earlier hydration upgrades already offer a calmer path. If you choose caffeine, keep it simple and earlier in the day, and let water do the steady work. Now for the medicine cabinet and supplement shelf. Detox teas, essential oils taken by mouth, and concentrated herbal extracts promise fast cleansing but can irritate the very organ you're trying to support, especially when mixed or taken at high doses without guidance. Food first is safer and more sustainable. Vegetables, beans, whole grains, and gentle spices. If you're considering a supplement, bring it to a licensed professional who knows your history and medications. Many products have real interactions. Read labels on over-the-counter pain relievers, cold medicines, and sleep aids. Different brand names can hide the same active ingredient, and doubling up by accident is more common than people realize. Takeout can still be your friend with 2 tweaks. First, swap frying for grilling or baking. Grilled chicken instead of fried strips, oven-roasted potatoes instead of fries. Second, ask for vegetables on the side and have the sauce. Mexican-style bowls with beans, fajita vegetables, grilled fish or chicken, brown rice, pico de gallo, and a dollop of plain Greek yogurt deliver flavor and balance without the fryer's baggage. At burger spots, add a side salad and water or unsweetened iced tea instead of soda refills. Small edits, big pattern shift. Create a 10-minute weekly kitchen audit. Toss expired items, scan sauces for sugar and sodium, and restock staples that make healthy choices automatic. Frozen vegetable blends, pre-washed greens, canned beans, whole grain tortillas, lemons, garlic, and olive oil. Check your medications and note any products that share an active ingredient. Write the names on a sticky note inside the cabinet. That tiny system saves you from accidental overlaps later. None of this requires perfection. It asks for attention, the kind that turns dinner from a default into a decision. Cook a little gentler. Choose sauces that enhance rather than overpower. Rotate in fresher proteins, keep an eye on labels, and use your environment to make the good choice easy. The change you'll feel is quieter afternoons, calmer digestion, and a sense that your meals are helping rather than hindering your goals. Education note: this is general guidance, not a diagnosis or a treatment plan. If you have a liver condition, are pregnant or breastfeeding, or take daily medications, personalize these changes with your clinician. Precision matters in health. Amounts and methods are the difference between helpful and unhelpful. You've cleared a lot of obstacles. There is, however, a common pairing, so ordinary it hides in plain sight, that can strain the liver more than most people expect. We're about to name it clearly and show you how to build a daily plate that lightens the load from the first bite. The next tip is one of the most important. Ignoring it won't just limit your results, it can also create unwanted side effects. So keep the same steady, informed mindset as you turn to it. You've trimmed the hidden load, cleaner sauces, gentler cooking, smarter takeout, and a label habit that protects you from accidental overlaps. Now, I want to hand you something you can repeat on autopilot. A simple anchor meal that supports the liver without fuss, plus the promised safety reveal and a bonus routine to make results stick for 7 days straight. Think of this as the template you can bend to your tastes, season by season. Here's the core idea you've been building toward. The liver thrives on consistency. A plate that repeats fiber, color, and clean protein creates fewer spikes and fewer surprises. So we'll assemble one reliable meal that checks those boxes, then you can remix it with whatever your household likes. Start with vegetables as the foundation. About half your plate, 2 heaping cups once cooked. Choose a mix you'll actually eat. Broccoli florets, kale or collard ribbons, cauliflower, bell peppers, Brussels sprouts, or a medley from the frozen aisle. Keep the prep gentle, so flavor and texture stay bright. Steam broccoli 3 to 5 minutes until green and crisp tender. Sauté shredded kale in a teaspoon of olive oil with a clove of garlic for 2 to 3 minutes until glossy but still vibrant. If roasting, use moderate heat and pull vegetables when edges are golden, not blackened. Layer in a palm-sized portion of protein, about 4 to 6 ounces of cooked fish or chicken, or 3/4 to 1 cup of beans or lentils if you prefer plant-based. For fish, place salmon on a lined baking sheet. Brush with a teaspoon of olive oil, season with lemon, pepper, and dill or parsley, and bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 degrees Celsius, for 10 to 12 minutes until it flakes. For chicken breast, marinate with lemon, garlic, and herbs for 30 minutes, then bake at 375 degrees, 190 degrees, for 18 to 22 minutes, depending on thickness. For beans, simmer until very tender, drain well, and season after cooking with olive oil, lemon, and herbs rather than heavy sauces. Round out the plate with a fist-sized serving of whole grains or starchy plants, 1/2 to 1 cup cooked brown rice, quinoa, barley, farro, or a small baked sweet potato. These bring the steady fiber that helps the rest of the meal land comfortably. Finish with a tablespoon of olive oil and a squeeze of lemon after cooking for aroma and satisfaction. If you cook for a family, make it practical with sheet pan and batch options. Roast 2 trays of mixed vegetables on Sunday. Bake a pan of chicken thighs or a fillet of salmon, then portion into containers. Cook a pot of brown rice or quinoa. With those 3 elements chilled and ready, dinner becomes assembly, not cooking. Vegetables plus protein plus grain, topped with herbs and fresh lemon. On nights when appetites vary, spin the same parts into familiar American-style bowls. A burrito bowl with romaine, black beans, roasted peppers, grilled chicken, brown rice, and pico de gallo with a spoon of plain Greek yogurt. Or a salad plate with kale, roasted sweet potato, salmon, pumpkin seeds, and a lemon mustard vinaigrette. A word about flavor. You don't need heavy sauces to enjoy food. Keep spices front and center: paprika, cumin, oregano, thyme, black pepper, and add acidity with lemon or vinegar. If you want creaminess, whisk 2 teaspoons of olive oil with a teaspoon of Dijon and plenty of lemon. Thin with water to taste. Save sticky, sugar-heavy sauces for occasional treats. Now for the safety reveal I promised from the beginning. Many people reach for a painkiller after a night out and assume hydration cancels the risk. It doesn't. Alcohol and medications that contain acetaminophen, also called paracetamol, can be a harsh pairing for the liver, even at typical doses. Read every label, especially multi-symptom cold medicines, sleep aids, and extra-strength tablets, and avoid taking acetaminophen if you've been drinking. If you use any medication regularly, talk with your clinician about safer timing and alternatives. Water is helpful, but it doesn't erase interactions. This is not said to scare you. It's to give you the quiet power of knowledge before you need it. Here's the 7-day bonus to lock in momentum without stunts. Each morning, fill a 1-liter pitcher with cold water. Add 2 to 3 thin slices of fresh ginger, 1 cinnamon stick, a handful of mint, and a few lemon wheels. Let it infuse for 30 to 60 minutes. Sip throughout the day in addition to your usual water. It's a flavor nudge, not a medical treatment. If you notice throat or stomach irritation, return to plain water. Pair the pitcher with a short checklist: 1 anchor meal at lunch or dinner, a glass of water before each meal, a 10-20-minute walk after your main meal, and an evening kitchen power down to protect your overnight pause. Check the boxes each night for 1 week. Small wins compound fast. Keep this educational guardrail in place. If you live with a liver condition, are pregnant or breastfeeding, or take daily medications, personalize these steps with a licensed professional. Food and medicine schedules interact. More is not always better. Consistency beats intensity. What you'll likely notice is not fireworks, but steadiness. Clearer mornings, fewer post-meal slumps, and a kitchen rhythm that feels kinder to your body. The anchor meal gives you a home base. The safety reveal protects you from an avoidable mistake. The bonus pitcher and checklist make the plan livable on hectic American weekdays. If you've been waiting for a signal to start, this is it. Build one plate today, sip from the pitcher you prepared, take the short walk, and let the evening wind down without a second dinner. You're not chasing a cleanse. You're building a life that keeps your liver's workload reasonable, day after day, season after season.